useless and a piece of garbage. People honk as if they are in a hurry to get somewhere, but Indians are always late everywhere. Well, so today I'll be driving and reviewing the Innova HyCross. This is the Innova HyCross in the ZX variant. It's not the ZX optional variant. I'll be going over why not the ZX optional variant, why the ZX variant, and I'll also be giving you a walkthrough of this car later in the video. So let's just get the car started. So that's the dash cam that I have got installed from Toyota. So coming to the car itself, it starts in the EV mode, irrespective of how much you have driven it or the battery percentage. The battery is not completely discharged always. It has some juice left always, so that's how it always starts in the EV mode. And yeah, so let's just get driving. So this is the 360 camera. I'll be going over more features throughout the video. So having driven diesel cars for the past 10 years, at least owning them for the past 10 years, this is my first petrol and a hybrid vehicle. So I'm still getting used to how silent it is, even at idle. So because of the 360-degree camera, it's a lot simpler, easier and convenient to drive this car, especially in Mumbai traffic. Sometimes I find it's easier than my Polo. Yep, all sorts of things happening here. So while driving a hybrid car, the first thing that you'll notice is how smooth it is and how seamless this transition from battery to the engine is, at least on the Toyota. I haven't driven any other hybrid vehicle. And with such cars, you should always be gentle on the throttle, otherwise there's no point. The engine is going to kick in and you are not going to get the most of fuel efficiency. So it's always good, and I always keep it in the eco mode. However, this does have 3 driving modes. That's the power, eco and the normal mode. I mean, the main aim of getting this car is just for how efficient it is. So I don't think you need to drive this in power mode unless you are on the highway and you are trying to overtake someone. I think that's when, but I guess the normal mode should be more than enough for it. What is he trying to achieve? And another thing to note is that this is my first MPV or SUV, if you say so. I know it's not an SUV because it's not a ladder frame chassis and all that stuff, but yeah, it feels like an SUV because you're seated high and unlike an MPV, it doesn't have the looks of an MPV. And also an MPV is much lower according to me. If you see the Kia Carnival, it's a lot lower than this car, or the Wellfire for that sake. So this review and walkthrough is going to be based from the perspective of a person who has driven a sedan and a hatchback, and both of them are German. This is my first Japanese car. I mean, we did have the Honda Civic, but that was way back. It was a good car, but again it was a sedan. It was too low to the ground, so that just made it a struggle to drive, at least in Mumbai. And I'm talking about maybe a decade back. Now it would be even more horrible. So yeah, I'm just hoping that I get a good place to park the car and show you all a walkthrough of the exterior and the interior. Also, I have some accessories that I have installed from the dealer because of, again, the delivery situation on the Innova HyCross. So because of that, we did have to get some accessories, but I have not installed any chrome accessory except for the rain visor. That is an accessory which I didn't ask for, but still I got it. That's Toyota dealers for you guys. Coming to some of the bells and whistles that this car has, I think the first and foremost are the ventilated seats just at the front, not like the Safari that you get on the rear seats as well. This does come with ventilated seats right here. At full, it is a bit noisy, but that's fine. That's a trade-off that I'm willing to make if I'm getting cooled seats, especially in Mumbai summers. Also, another advantage of driving an MPV or an SUV to review is that you can keep the rear ACs turned on, so it won't be affecting the voice quality, I hope. A small niggle in this car is that the indicator stalks are a bit far from the steering wheel, and so whenever my hands here and I'm trying to turn, whenever my hands are here, I'm trying to turn and I want to give a pass, it does end up with the indicator turning on. So that's one small niggle that I'm trying. Some of the issues which other people have but I don't are related to the plastic quality. I mean, some people feel that they should give soft touch plastic or everywhere, even over the dashboard, which I feel is not necessary. If you're staying in a place like Mumbai, it is definitely not recommended, because on the BMW, due to the heat, all such sorts of soft touch plastic would melt and it would get sticky, so you would end up replacing it. So that's a problem with soft touch plastic, which most reviewers don't cover, and you realize it only after you have owned a luxury car for like 10 years. I'm not going to go over all of the features in this car. There are like a dozen more reviews out there trying to tell you everything about this car. I'll be just going over the things that I like, I dislike, and also why I went for this over something like the Safari or the XUV 700, which we did consider buying, but we didn't buy it. So going over the reasons why we got this over the Safari is, I think the first and foremost is the overall quality control issues on Tata cars. If you are a Tata owner, maybe you are not facing this issue, but yeah, so that was something I was afraid of. And the funny story is that we did test drive the Tata Safari, but even during the test drive, the cameras on the 360-degree cameras weren't working. So that was a big letdown for us. And overall, I wanted peace of mind getting a car. I didn't want to run towards the service center and not having to get a solution for the problem that I'm facing. So that is one reason why we didn't get the Safari. I mean, it's a great car. I love the way it looks, and also it's a practical car. It does cover most of the features that you would be requiring. Obviously it's not as big as this is like a mini bus, but yeah, it's a great car. But I think Tata should improve their after sale and the quality control issues that they currently have. and why we didn't get the XUV 700. So the main reason why we didn't get the XUV 700 is that the second row doesn't slide. I know it's not that big of a deal, but for us it is, because we wanted a car that had a proper third row which could even seat an adult. But the XUV lacked the sliding. I mean, how tough it is to just get one sliding row for the second row. If you are able to bring in more variants, special limited editions, I think you can also add that. So that is something that the Mahindra misses out on. So you can't adjust the second row to make space in the third row. And by default, by default this third row doesn't have any space, and it's obvious because it's not that big of a car. So the third row, and something that is lacking in both the cars, that is Safari and XUV, is the boot space with all three rows up. And I think that's a problem with most SUVs except for Toyotas. With all three rows up, there's not much space left in the boot to keep anything, maybe a small duffel bag. That is all that you can keep in the boot. If you see the, I don't know what's this called, it's a tacho or the mode indicator, if you try to keep it within the eco range, you should be getting good mileage, at least double-digit mileage or fuel efficiency in the city. On the highways, it depends again on how you drive. And one misconception that even I had before owning a hybrid vehicle is that the battery can only work within a certain speed limit, but that's not the case. It depends on how hard you floor it or how gentle you are on the throttle. So even at speeds like 100, it would be running off the battery charge, and as soon as you leave the throttle, it would be using the regenerative braking. It's not regenerative braking actually, it's just charging the battery of kinetic energy. It's not slowing the car down as such. Another thing that I like on this vehicle is the dual zone climate control, but this dual zone is not dual zone in the front row or the front two, the passenger and the driver and the co-driver, but the zones are, the first zone is on the first row, and the second zone is in the second row and the third row. So that's a lot more practical, because I mean it's an MPV, so you need another zone at the back, but at the same time you need to keep the costs in control. So having 4-zone climate control like on the X7 won't make sense. So splitting the dual zone into one zone over here and one at the back makes more sense. And I think this is the only car that has it. The Fortuner has dual zone at the front, so that is something to keep in mind. Oh yeah, that's the Wellfire. I mean, the looks are subjective, but it's low to the ground, so it's like driving a sedan that has that's taller. So I don't think it makes sense in Mumbai unless you want to get the best of Toyota luxury. But I'd rather get the X7 instead of this. If you're someone who has driven a sedan or a hatchback for the past few years, or if you have never owned an SUV before or an MPV, I think everyone needs to try driving one, because it's a completely different feeling driving an MPV, especially in Mumbai. And the steering also weighs up. If you have watched the BMW video that I have uploaded last week, this I did talk about the EPS, the electrically powered steering. So yeah, in stop-start traffic it would be super light, and as you get up to speeds, it is going to weigh up. So some things that could be improved on this car or could be added is the the window switches, they are not illuminated. Only the driver side is illuminated, and most of the buttons, if you see over here, even these are not illuminated. So that's some type of cost cutting which I don't expect on a car that costs around 40 lakhs. And also the plastic quality of the buttons, I think they could have been better. It feels a bit cheap at times. So yeah, that's something. Are the stock tail lights on the welfare like this, or are these modified? I'm not sure. It somehow reminds me of the Marazzo, the Mahindra Marazzo, but a bit bigger than the Mahindra Marazzo. Also, another nifty feature that this car has is the auto dimming IRVM. Somehow Mahindra, I'm not sure if Mahindra has it yet. I think the update does have it, but I'm not sure. When we were planning on getting a car, it didn't have auto dimming IRVM. Small bumps and undulations, this car can easily soak in, and you don't need to worry like you do in a sedan or a hatchback. You can just drive through these bumps and not feel a thing. Also, there is a dedicated EV mode button over here, if you see it, but it's pretty much useless because you need the battery to be charged to about 50%, and even if you do have the battery charged to 50%, it would be running off EV mode, but as soon as you floor the throttle, it would be going back into the ICE mode. So that's something to keep in mind. I think they could have just not given it. So if you see, I have now shifted to the EV mode, but now it has deactivated. I didn't even floor the throttle, but still it deactivated. So I am not sure why it is there. Since this is an incline, it would be running off the ICE mode for the most part. Yeah. And if you want to enjoy driving this car, I think you should be gentle with it. If you go hard, this is an eCVT, so you might feel the rubber band effect, but it's not much. It is well contained. although the car is huge, but when you sit and you start driving it, man, it feels like a hatchback thanks to the 360-degree camera and also the quarter glass and all. There are no blind spots on this vehicle. People honk as if they are in a hurry to get somewhere, but Indians are always late everywhere. So I just don't get it. Why do they want to honk so much? Let's just see if I get to park somewhere here. So this is the amount of space, leg room for for the driver's seat is in my seating position, and I think I could move this a bit. Yeah. So I'm around 5'11", and so there is ample of space for anyone above, I think, even 6'3". If someone of 6'3" is sitting behind, there should be enough space. But if you are trying to seat more people, I think you can see the amount of leg room you got back here. I'm not going to go in the third row now, but it does have enough space for someone of my height to sit, and so that's not an issue. This is how the cockpit looks from the second row. And we also have the panoramic sunroof, which I always tend to forget about. Yeah. So let me just open the sunroof and show. So let me start the car first. Car sound. And it's a pretty big sunroof, and this part also does open. And this is the first time that I am opening the sunroof. The opening is also pretty huge, but obviously it's not something to stand out of or put your head out of. So yeah, that looks pretty good. This is the infotainment screen. Let me just switch on the rear ACs, otherwise I might end up suffocating over here. Yeah, if you click on the rear button and then you just adjust the fan speed. If you don't want to adjust the fan speed, you can just click on auto and it should handle it for you. And to start the front ACs, you just need to click on auto and it starts up. Coming to the infotainment display, this does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto built into it. 832 action! Ow! What am I even saying? So this does not come with built-in navigation, but it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Android Auto is wired and Apple CarPlay comes with wireless Apple CarPlay. So you click on settings. Here's the audio settings, the display settings, the wallpaper and stuff. You can just, what's this animation? So let me just turn this off. Coming to the Bluetooth, you can connect the Bluetooth from here, but I'm not going to show you the Apple CarPlay because if I start Apple CarPlay, my phone is not going to record any voice and that would be useless. What else? Yeah, so the wireless charger has been installed as an accessory over here. If you're planning on getting this car, just don't get this accessory. It is useless and a piece of garbage because the surface, it is not grippy. So once you start driving the car, your phone is going to move and you won't be charging the mobile phone. So this is the glove box, decent size, and you get two cup holders over here. These are not cup holders, this is a bottle holder according to me, because you can fit a 1 liter bottle over here. Then you have ample space over here to keep maybe 3 bottles. And what else? Yeah, there's a type C charging port over here and a USB type A. This is for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay if you're planning on using it wired. And yeah, I'm not going to get into much detail of the Ottoman seats. There are plenty reviews covering it. Okay, coming to the sound system, I think it is decent. It's not bad, but it's not that great either. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's not something I mind, and I am not planning on changing it because the issues that you run into once you have changed the sound system, man, I don't want it. And especially I don't want it on new car. So that's something. And yeah, the lights are yellow everywhere in this car. You might like it, you might not like it, but yeah, that's a fact. And yeah, for the accessories, this is one accessory that has been installed. Then Yeah, then comes the interior lights over here. So currently they turn on as and when you open the door, but you can keep it turned on throughout. And also it comes with an app. The app's name is Smart Ambient Lighting. I'll put a screenshot over here. So the funny thing is that even the Toyota accessories dealer or the in charge, he didn't know that you can change the color of the lights, and he was pretty surprised once I told him that you could do it. So yeah, there are two apps available on App Store and Play Store. One is the Toyota legroom lamp that won't work with this. It is for the Krista and the Fortuner. If you want to change the color on this of these interior lights, you have to get the Smart Ambient Lighting app. I'll put the screenshot, and then you need to connect it to BM70 BLE. That's the Bluetooth name for the controller of these lights. And also there is one more thing that I want to show. Let this car go. So you can see that I have installed the welcome door lamp. Yeah, it's pretty bright outside, so it won't be visible right now. Maybe I'll put a photo of it, how it looks. And yeah, that's about it. And I love this car. So people would be thinking that if you are driving a luxury car and you get this car, you'll feel like it's a downgrade, but it's not a downgrade. And in a city like Mumbai, it's not tiring to drive this car thanks to all the features that it has. Okay, the 360 camera, yeah, the quality is not that great. At night it's not the best, but it does the job, and it shows if you're going to scrape the car or anything of that sort. And so I don't have any issues with it. It's not something that I'm going to shoot a movie out of, and it's in typical Toyota fashion. It is decent. So yeah, I think I should get moving from here. So I think that's about it for this video. You can let me know if you want me to go in depth in any of the features, such as the infotainment display or the instrument cluster. Also, I plan on writing a review on Team BHP, but I just got selected. Yay. Okay, so that's the bottle that just, yeah, so this is a pretty steep slope, but yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so I do plan on writing a review for Team BHP, since I have been selected as a member on it. But yeah, it will take some time, so I decided to just make a video for this. Till the time I enjoy doing it, I might be uploading videos. Oh wow. Okay, so let's just end the video with this.
चिंता मत करो, अभी स्टार्ट हो जाएगा।